One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides onto his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hears back to cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Yes, freaking sir, we are here live and at it on a Topless Taco Tuesday. Let's freaking go, everybody. Yep. Hopefully everyone's enjoying themselves, having a wonderful, fantastic morning so far. I definitely know that I am. I was running a little behind on my day today, even though I woke up at the right time. It's just, I kind of like was lagging a little bit. So, hey, that's the way it goes. Listen, we got a very big news day. Obviously, you guys know this is October 7th. 2 years ago, we saw one of the biggest, or one of the most heinous crimes that Hamas has ever done over there to Israel. And there's going to be lots of talks about October 7th today, not just on my show. I mean, we're going to cover it a little bit, but we're not going to focus on it. But you're going to hear that a lot today in the media because it is October 7th. And it is also the 7th day of the government shutdown, ladies and gentlemen. We've had 6 full days of complete government shutdown, and we're on day 7 now. And we have a lot of updates regarding a whole bunch of shit, whether it be protests, Gaza, all of this shit. We pretty much have everything ready for you guys. So the way that I have this labeled is day 7 of government shutdown, as well as 2 years since October 7th attack. And then Trump meets with Carney and more. So now Trump meeting up with Carney, I think that's going to be happening on sometime later this afternoon. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to cover that here this morning, but at least you guys know it's happening. First, we're going to be discussing Illinois. We're going to go over there to Chicagoland. Chicago sue to stop Trump's National Guard plan. So now we've got Chicago actually suing Trump and his administration. Then we have the Chicago mayor that is now declaring ice-free zones, just like a sanctuary city, ice-free zones as Trump orders National Guard to city. Now, yeah, people, it's insane how these politicians react to certain things like this. You have to hate your country. You just have to hate your people at this point. That's my little side note there. Then we have government shutdown, major U.S. airport without air traffic controllers. Man, and now it's definitely affecting flights and all of this. Democrats, you need to get your head out of your ass. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest about the situation. You need to fucking open this shit back up. We need to pressurize these motherfuckers. Anyways, we got 2 years since October 7th attack on Israel, beginning of the Gaza war. That's what they say. Yes, it's what stemmed it again and made it to the point where they have to fucking finish the job. That's not where the start of the war is, though. A lot of people like to say how October 7th was the start of the war. It was not. There was a huge lead up to this, and usually that's where people lose a lot of the context. They have no idea about, like, the 6-Day War. They have no idea behind any of this shit. Anyways, full remarks, we have Pete Hegseth. He's actually all dressed up like a normal plainclothes dude. It's interesting. Visits Naval Air Station Oceana. I'm not really sure why he's dressed up the way he is. We're going to probably find out. There's probably a reason. And then as you guys know, yesterday we had Speaker Johnson speaking on day 6 of the government shutdown, and now he comes out today, only 20 minutes ago, he comes out and has a full speech again regarding on day 7, which is today, day 7 of the shutdown, man. So before we get into it, man, that was a huge lineup. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Helps out the show immensely, and it's completely free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. But listen, there's got to be a little bit of money involved, right? Please consider becoming a member, starting only at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to do what we do and stay on these airwaves, is for you guys becoming members and then staying members, man. So I'm very appreciative of every member in here, man. Thank you. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes, and not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, all that great shit. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And if you guys have Discord, make sure you guys join in on the Insane Wheels channel Discord, the server, because that's where all of us hang out, and I think it's a great place for us to exchange ideas, stay connected as a family, man. It's awesome. So Naomi will throw that link into the chat for you guys. And if you guys are watching this on the playback, go into the video description box below of any live video, and it'll give you all different links, whether it's my Instagram, Discord, all of that. Make sure you guys join up on that. Last but not least, all super chats, what do they call them? Super stickers, gifted membership signups. All these things are, of course, going to be presented live onto the show and shouted out. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take in the hard-earned cash, we have these platforms right here that, of course, you guys can donate to, and I will read it off just like a super chat. You know what I mean? And I'm actually going to be focusing way more on any Cash Apps, Venmos, PayPals. If anything comes through, I got it on my email, and it'll be shouted out right away. All right, ladies and gentlemen, great to see everyone in the building, man. We got to start it off with Gorilla Biscuits coming in and dropping it like it's hot already, man. Thank you for making it rain in the building, man. I very much appreciate that. You're not only helping me, but you're helping someone in the Breakfast Club, man. So I'm very appreciative. We got Hardwire 1%, or X 1%er, by the way. I like how he put that in his name. I think once you're a certain thing, I think you're always that thing. It's a mentality and a heart, you know. We got Vanguard Prospect Mike. Always appreciate you hanging out with us. We got Jimmy in the building as well as Prez. We got Rabbit of Chaos as well as Motobomb. Thank you very much for the raid this morning, by the way. I very much appreciate the raid over to this channel, man. I very much appreciate that. We got Glare 1%er as well. Kind Sir, always appreciate you. We got Sick Bastard in the building as well as Slim. Always appreciate you guys. And yes, make sure you guys hit that like button. Very much appreciate that. We got Dean over there in freaking Israel. Always appreciate you, man. We got Joseph up there, our favorite snow Mexican up there in Canada, saying stop the cap, bro. Absolutely.
Stop the cap.
I agree. Let's see here. Yes, sir. Got to get to work. Hey, bro, I totally understand. We got Path Killer in the building saying much love, honor, and respect, everyone. Yes, sir. Boycotted work today. Man, that's sounds good to me, homie. Sounds good to me. Smoke one or have a drink on me, you know? We got Papa Penguin as well. Good morning, kind sir. We got Glare saying Chicago mayor said some crazy stuff about Civil War. Yeah, that's not probably very smart for him to even type or even, like, come to the... I don't know. Like, why would you even bring that kind of shit up? That rhetoric? You're going to lose. You're on the losing side, homie. And he knows that. Let's see. We're scrolling on down. Become a member. Yes, that's a fact. We got Sterling Wheel. Yes, we got our left-handed tobacco, our counterclockwise tobacco ready to go. As you guys always know, I'm always ready on deck. So before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and do our PSA for the morning and then get right into it.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking
shit. Sterling says, is the government really shut down? Yes, to an extent, at least on a budget level, for their next year. And of course, if they can't agree to this, then yeah, it's they're pretty much they can't really do much in Congress. You know, you're kind of locked up, and you got to have Congress in working condition. Let's see. I'm scrolling down. We got Steve Easy in the building as well, I believe. We got a Gorilla Piss, my man. Always appreciate you. Good morning. And Brown Chicken. Always appreciate you too. Oh man, Papa Penguin dropping a humongous one, a huge bomb. Bombing it. Yes, sir. I very much appreciate that. Dropping 5 humongous gifted memberships, man. Thank you very much. I'm very honored by that. And hopefully you guys are all enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday morning so far. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the ordeal here, though. We've done enough chatting everyone's ear off, so let's get right into it.
And welcome in here to Live Now from Fox as we continue to follow some breaking news. Putting this up on your screen here now from the Associated Press. As we're learning, Illinois and Chicago filed a lawsuit today aiming to stop President Trump's administration from sending hundreds of National Guard troops to the city just as troops prepared to deploy and hours after a federal judge blocked troops from being sent to Portland, Oregon. Officials in both cities saying that military intervention isn't needed and it's federal involvement that's inflaming the situation. The legal challenge coming after Illinois Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker said some 300 of the state's Guard troops were to be federalized and deployed to the nation's third largest city, along with 400 others from Texas. The lawsuit alleges that, quote, these advances in President Trump's long declared war on Chicago and Illinois are unlawful and dangerous. The American people...
Unlawful and dangerous. Stop it, bro. Stop. Like, I don't understand what...
Emotional damage!
Got a lot of emotional damage going on with these cities, bro. And it's always these left fucking cities every time. It's illegal. Shut up, stupid.
Regardless of where they reside, should not live under the threat of occupation by the United States military, particularly not simply because their city or state leadership has fallen out of the president's favor. That, again, is a quote there from the lawsuit. Pritzker said the potential deployment amounted to Trump's invasion and called the Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott to block it. Abbott pushed back and said the crackdown was needed to protect federal workers who are in the city as part of the president's increased immigration enforcement. White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson confirmed in a weekend statement that Trump authorized using Illinois National Guard members, citing what she called, quote, ongoing violent riots.
Where are you heading off to next, Sterling?
And lawlessness that local leaders have not quelled. In Chicago, the sight of armed Border Patrol agents making arrests near famous landmarks grew some concerns from residents already uneasy after an immigration crackdown that began last month. Agents have targeted immigrant-heavy and largely Latino areas.
Sick
Protesters
bastard.
have frequently rallied near an immigration facility outside the city, and federal officials reported the arrest of 13 protesters on Friday.
Man, I look at counterclockwise as a good thing now, so you can't even say that. You can't even say that. Speaking of counterclockwise things, let's just go ahead and get right into business. You know, shit.
A few moments later.
Oh, yeah, that feels good.
Oh my God!
Shit.
For the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Processing Facility in Broadview. The Department of Homeland Security acknowledged that federal agents shot a woman Saturday
What's up, Steve Posey, my man? Good morning.
morning on the southwest side of Chicago. A department statement said it happened after Border Patrol agents patrolling the area, quote, were rammed by vehicles and boxed in by 10 cars. No law enforcement officers were seriously injured. In Portland, U.S. District Judge granted a temporary restraining order sought by Oregon and California to block the deployment of Guard troops from those states to the city. There has been a sustained and low-level protest outside the Portland ICE facility, but it's been less disruptive than the downtown clashes of 2020 when demonstrations erupted after George Floyd's killing. And
Well, yeah, that was a whole different level. I mean, this is already fucked up, but that's a whole different level.
Once again, there's
with George Floyd and all that stuff.
Yeah. There from Governor Pritzker saying Illinois is taking the Trump administration to court for their unlawful and unconstitutional deployment of military troops to our state. Thank you for helping defend the rule of law. So as it pertains to President Trump, whether we've heard from him, we've been checking Truth Social. We have not yet seen a post from the...
That's right. I'm declaring my pad as a pad or a Fed-free pad, okay? They're not allowed to come here based off of my ruling now. I supersede everybody, okay?
President, but once we do know his response, we will bring that to you here on Live Now from Fox, as once again, we do share this breaking news here with you.
All right, so what we're going to do is move on into Chicago. Well, I mean, we're staying in Chicago since we're talking about Chicago a little bit, Illinois specifically. But we're going to be going now into Chicago and talk about a little bit of the protest that was going on. Now, Chicago is now declaring ice-free zones as Trump orders National Guard to the city. And this was yesterday, just for full transparency. This came out yesterday after my show finished. So I definitely wanted to show this.
Speaking, John Thune was just up Now, what we want to do is go back onto the other side of the aisle. You heard me speaking a little bit earlier today about Mayor Brandon
Why is he
Johnson.
so
What I
low?
want to do is bring up a tweet
Mountain
that he had
Woman.
a little bit earlier today.
Good morning.
And I'll go ahead and read this tweet out for you. He says, "We will not tolerate ICE agents violating our residents' constitutional rights, nor will we allow federal government to disregard our local authority. ICE agents are detaining elected officials, tear gassing protesters, children, and Chicago police officers."
Oh man, I hate that. Fucking camera just lagged, so now I'm behind by like a half a millisecond. So let me restart my camera here and let me see if that works. And then turn it back on. Okay. Boom, we're fixed. Yes, I love being able to fix it on the fly.
Abusing Chicago residents. We will not stand for that in our city. With the executive order, Chicago stands firm in protecting the constitutional rights of residents and immigrant communities and upholding our democracy. So what I'll do is I promise we'll go ahead and continue those remarks that we had from him a little bit earlier. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Yeah, he is using his inside voice. No kidding. Not me. But that guy was.
Civil, economic, and social rights that the biggest and most powerful possess. And that means that whether you are a billionaire...
Steve, why would you even engage in a fucking argument like that? If the guy is like automatically just discrediting that this isn't even a thing, well then he's not even competent enough for a conversation with you. You know what I mean? You can't sit there and deny the fact. Real quick, I gotta say a special shout out to my brother 13 hanging out with us. Fantastic moderator, by the way. He says Chicago falls within a 100-mile radius of a border for ICE to stop and ID anyone of suspicion of 4 papers. Also, good morning to everyone. Yes, sir. Great to see you, kind sir. And we got Tiffany Lance in the building. Hopefully you're feeling better. I know you had a little bit of a rough day yesterday, so I hope that you're doing better. We got extra surprise as well. Yes, sir. Always appreciate hanging out with you. And yes, Sterling, I am on top of it. I'm even on top of it with my quote-unquote super chats with my email, you know what I mean, for all these, you know, whether they're cash apps or whatever. I'm on top of it all, you know, right now. Sometimes I can stray a little bit, but hey, I'm on top of it news-wise, stream-wise, fixing-wise. We got our game, bro. All right, that's enough me patting myself on the back. I know. Got a ego.
Or 1,000 air or 100 air.
Just kidding.
You deserve the exact same rights. The Constitution applies to all of our residents. This president wants to remake a country by the ultra-rich and for the ultra-rich, and he wants to use the military and his private militarized force to repress the rights of poor and working...
Oh my fucking God.
Why are you gay?
Bro, he is gay.
You are gay.
You know, actually, I think what would go perfect with this right now is he's like singing over the top of him. Shit.
People. We prefer a government that is of, by, and for the people. That's what we are fighting to protect. And thank you again to the governor, the attorney general, and to our congressional delegation and our county leaders, and to all of our partners that have demonstrated a great deal of unity and courage and persistence in this moment. Our city has faced tough times before, and every time we stood strong because we stood together. Let's continue to work together to protect our democracy and to fight for the future of our country. With that, please welcome to the podium Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle.
Please welcome more fucking crying to the stage. Welcome to the stage, another fucking idiot. Another one of these guys that just stuck in their fucking feelings, but they see, they're not actually stuck in their feelings. They're using a situation like this and using your heartstrings to make their vote, to make their shit happen, to make their cities happen. They know that they're 100% bullshitting, and they know it, and they're selling you a thing, selling you a mentality.
Good afternoon.
Oh, God. Look at who comes up to the podium. Jesus Christ.
Stupid.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm grateful to be here with the governor, with the attorney general, with the mayor, and members of our congressional delegation.
We got TVT in the building as well. Always appreciate you hanging out with us, crazy Americans. Always appreciate you, man.
Jesus Garcia, Jan Schakowsky, Mike Quigley, Raja Krishnamurthy, Brad Schneider, Robin Kelly, and Danny Davis. Thank you all. For generations, our neighborhoods have been built and rebuilt by working people who stand together in hard times. We're not strangers to struggle, And we're also not people who will be intimidated.
Brother Frederick Frame, my man, good morning.
The Trump administration's authorization of National Guard troops to enter Cook County and Chicago is a dangerous and reckless abuse of power.
Oh my God, these guys just whine. They just whine over the top of everything.
It's an affront to local governance, a violation of trust, and an insult to residents and local law enforcement officers who are working every day to make this city safer and more just. Slamming human beings to the ground, dragging them in the street.
Shit. What's up, Bree? Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday.
This is not immigration enforcement. It's intimidation. It's fear tactics. It's an illegal abuse of power dressed up as law and order. The truth is that our local leaders, our local police, our community organizations, and our residents have been working for years to reimagine what safety means. It's about building trust, investing in prevention, and healing the wounds that have festered far too long. We're working to replace fear with fairness. And this administration would rather send troops than send real help.
Listen, I'm going to ask you guys this. I know this is going to be bad timing because we're listening to this fucking broad, this old hag just going off. But listen, do me a favor, hit that like button, not for them. Do it for me and my takes and what I provide for, the counter, the pushback to their bullshit. So I very much appreciate that.
We know what this looks like. Deploying the National Guard to Chicago sends a chilling message. It tells us that standing up to the Trump administration is something to be crushed, not heard. That local voices do not matter. The federal government decides to flex its power.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you're not going to do your fucking job, the feds are going to come in and force the situation. They're not going to live outside the means of law and order. And if you allow this bullshit, they're going to come in and infiltrate your ass. These ice-free zones, fucking get out of here. Sanctuary cities, all this crap. It's all crap, bro.
This is not democracy.
Yeah, it's actually not democracy to have ice-free zones. Actually, you're the threat. You're the one actually is going against, what this country stands for. You guys are just apologetics for illegal people and fucking illegal crime. Just basically just any type of crime, they back it. They back up crime.
Authoritarianism, plain and simple. I stand with Governor Pritzker,
Brother
Attorney
Lee,
General Raul,
good morning.
Mayor Johnson, and every local leader who rejects this federal overreach. Cook County will continue to stand
speaking
firm
of
in defense
Lee,
of our residents.
he sent in a cash app, by the way, saying he sends in $2 for dues, saying, "Boys, hold that smoke, yes sir." Brother Lee making that shit fucking rain. Shit. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far, man. I always appreciate
in
you.
our democratic values. Cook County will be filing an amicus brief in full support of the state of Illinois' lawsuit to block the Trump administration from deploying federalized National Guard troops in our communities. The federal government has been extremely clear that they're taking this action not to assist Illinois and local officials, but to use Chicago as a training ground for the military to fight what they dub the war from within. This is direct punishment of state and local governments' exercise of their sovereign right to enact constitutional laws and ordinances. We believe in accountability.
No, it's absolutely not illegal for, first of all, ICE to do what they're doing. Second of all, for the National Guard to protect their federal property. Yeah, that's not illegal. That's not a threat to democracy. These fucking morons. I don't understand how these people actually have this rhetoric and then people actually believe what they're saying. Like, fuck what people say and all that shit. And even though they're just, to someone like me, they're just ratting on themselves. But watch what they do. Like, sanctuary cities, fucking all this shit, anti-ICE and all this crap. If they allow that shit, get the fuck out. For real.
We believe in community solutions, and we believe that local problems are best solved by local people. We are a proud, diverse, and resilient county. We fought for decades to build a government rooted in equity and inclusion. And we will not allow our efforts to be undermined by a federal government that chooses.
Man, Pathkiller said it correct. Liberal fatigue is real, and that's exactly why you actually saw Donald Trump become 47th president and get his second term was because of the liberal fatigue was absolutely real, and it's still real. Absolutely.
This is confrontation over collaboration. And now I'd like to bring to the podium
That's right, Hardwire.
Jesus Garcia.
Oh, man. All these fucking politicians need to come up here and give their 2 cents. Fuck them. How about that? How about that? We just shut it down. We already got what they're doing. They're whining over the top of them. Whatever. We'll go ahead and move on, bro. That was enough. That was enough emotional damage on me. That I have enough emotional damage now. So in our next story, government shut down major U.S. airport without air traffic controllers now. So that must mean they're not flying. Let's go ahead and bring this up and see what we're talking about here.
We do want to take you right now.
This is a very short segment, by the way.
There we go. Some breaking news, and just 6 days into this government shutdown.
And we're on day 7, but this was from yesterday evening, I believe.
Already feeling the impacts, especially in Southern California.
Afternoon.
I want to bring this update as due to staffing shortages in LA area.
Yeah, so it was in the afternoon.
In Southern California, there are said to be no controllers on duty at Burbank from 4:15 to 10 p.m. on Monday. And we're hearing from both sides of the aisle, including the governor, Gavin Newsom, talking about this here, saying, thanks, Donald Trump, President Trump, Burbank Airport has 0 air traffic controllers from 4:15 to 10.
Zero. Shit. Look at what Gavin Newsom's trying to rub it in right now. Like, oh, thanks to your bullshit. What do you mean? It's your politicians that voted to shut down the government. So how is it the fuck? Like, look at just the fact, bro. Who voted for what? Okay? Is it Trump and Trump's people that are keeping this fucking government shut down? The answer is no. Absolutely not.
Today because of your government shutdown. In response, we heard from Rapid Response. Trump administration say a Democratic shutdown. The air traffic tower in Burbank is unmanned on Monday evening as air traffic controllers begin to call out in greater numbers due to a government shutdown. And we were hearing about that, talking about that in full. And these are just some images we're getting in from Southern California about this airport there in Burbank. Planes still coming and going. That's what at least we saw visually as due to this government shutdown.
Tiffany coming in, by the way, and updating, showing everybody for a full year, by the way, 12 months, saying it's been a year. Yes, congratulations. That is fucking awesome. Thank you so much. I'm very honored to have your support for now over a year. I'm very honored by that. So thank you, and to Lee as well for the amount of support that you guys have shown me over the past year, man.
There were reportedly no air traffic controllers working at Hollywood Burbank Airport on Monday due to that staffing shortages. There were really no additional details released.
Okay, that's funny.
How this will impact flights
good.
And out of Burbank and the impact of the shutdown. As on Monday, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy spoke about how the government shutdown is putting more stress on air traffic controllers who already have an extremely stressful job. He said there's been an increase in staff shortages across the system. And when that happens, the FAA is forced to slow down traffic.
We're very close. We're only 2 likes off. Well, now we're up to 38 people in here or whatever, 37. And 32 likes. Yes, make sure you guys hit the like button. You guys don't have to like the craziness around the world or this inside of our country right now, but you guys can like it for me and my takes.
Some airports for safety reasons. Controllers are expected to continue working without a paycheck, though. Duffy said they would eventually get back pay. He's added there's already been a small uptick in controllers calling out sick in a few places. If that gets worse as the shutdown drags on, the FAA could be forced to reduce the number of takeoffs and landings, which would create delays and possible cancellations. So obviously a very busy kind of.
If you hover over your name on YouTube, okay, if you hover over the member icon, it'll tell you how many months you've been a part of it. So I believe so anyways. All right, we're moving because I don't really use YouTube on PC and stuff. I use YouTube on my phone, so I don't even know how a lot of that shit works on PC. All right, now we're moving into, yes, you guys know that today is October 7th. It is 2 years to the date that Hamas infiltrated Israel, took a whole bunch of hostages, over 200 hostages or whatever, and actually murdered over 1,200 people. Very rough situation, and I think they understood now. Back then it was different, but now they understand that that was the wrong thing to do. And my camera just fucking lagged again. I don't know why it's doing that this morning. Let me Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that, but now it's fixed. All right.
Artemaniac here on Live Now from Fox, almost 11 o'clock out.
We're not going to play this whole thing, by the way. We're just going to play a little bit. We don't need to hear every little detail about October 7th. We know it. We respect it. And this is why, specifically everyone has labeled Hamas as a terrorist organization, and why the United States recognizes it as such. And they are a terrorist organization. They absolutely should be no longer, so not to disrespect October 7th and for what it is on its day, especially, but I definitely want to reiterate that we cover this thing nonstop, almost daily, regarding Israel, so we're very keen.
Tomorrow marks 2 years since the deadly
October
7th attack, and the war in Gaza continues on. For more on those negotiations, those peace talks, the 20-point plan.
What's up, Wicked Wally, my man?
Let's take you
Good
out
morning.
to Rebecca Castor with this report.
Smoke rising across the Gaza Strip Monday ahead of pivotal talks nearly 300 miles away in Egypt that could finally bring an end to the fighting.
Tell you, it's amazing. You're going to have peace, if you think about it, peace in the Middle East for the first time in...
Shit, we got Outlaw Preacher as well saying good morning, Mike Ball and everyone. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday as well. I'll back this up a little bit because I interrupted them.
It's amazing. You're going to have peace, if you think about it, peace in the Middle East for the first time in, they say, really, 3,000 years. So I'm very honored to be a big part of that.
President Donald Trump is optimistic Hamas will fully accept his peace proposal, but many Palestinians find it hard to believe real peace is coming.
I appeal to God to make the truth succeed. Oh God, because the people are tired.
There's not 1% of hope because they gave us hope before and said there would be a truce, and then the truce was ruined. Then they said there would be negotiations.
Yeah, but you guys don't know jack all about what's actually fucking happening. With all due respect, even these people that actually live here, guys like me, are way more plugged in to what's actually happening than, I'm sorry, this chick in a tent over there. Just saying.
And then the negotiations were ruined.
Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, are leading the talks on behalf of the U.S.
Shit, fuck it. We'll go ahead and run a PSA.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit. Real quick, Dean Savage coming in over there in Israel says, Mike, thanks for keeping us all, from us all, for keeping it current. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to see y'all discussing it, remembering it, and regardless that it's not your own backyard, still, thanks. Hey, man, I very much appreciate the acknowledgement. Thank you. And I'm really glad that you were able to see what I'm talking about regarding October 7th, because I don't look at it as something that is, I think that is kind of used as a political thing. I look at it as one of the most savage things ever. I don't look at it as politics. And unfortunately, that's how what real politics actually is warfare. It's hostages. It's death. It's missiles. It's all this shit, which is so sad about the equation. But the one thing that the Israeli government has done, unfortunately, a little too much, is when they force it nonstop. You know what I mean? And so I have always given October 7th a real factual perspective, not on some biased shit of either side actually, but just on a factual what's happened. And that was one of the most savage shit to happen to Israelis.
Yes. The first priority is the release of all remaining hostages.
Not the most,
some
but
of whom are in
one.
underground tunnels where they've been starved and reportedly forced to dig their own graves. The more difficult talks regarding withdrawing troops and governing Gaza will come next.
I think that we are the closest we have been in a very long time to having no hostages held by Hamas, either living or deceased.
President Trump is urging negotiators to work fast and wants the 20 hostages believed to still be alive released this week. At the White House, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
All right, thank you so much for that, Rebecca. And it's hard to get into what we talk about day to day here on Live Now from Fox, the ongoing negotiation.
Exactly. And that's something that I think someone like myself, not like even a normal news reporter, not everyone is reporting on this kind of stuff. They may be reporting on fucking weather. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. But guys like me, I'm involved in not only with what's happening in Israel and reporting on it and following it, but I'm doing that with around the world. In geopolitics, that's my thing. So I'm very keen to a lot of these situations, and a lot of these people that are speaking on, for instance, October 7th, blah, 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 these aren't people that talk about it every day, obviously.
The devastation there in Gaza during this ongoing war. But, of course, October 7, marking that day, 2 years.
That's one of the most cringe things ever is when those guys, especially the guy over there in Tel Aviv, I forget his name, is the older white man, and he always goes, Fox News. I'm like, you just made my skin crawl. Why did you do that?
Since this all began, the terrorist attack that unfolded fateful on that day. And of course, the sun is rising right now. It is October 7th in Tel Aviv, Israel, as we're following the latest here on this on Live Now from Fox. Let's bring into the conversation friend of the program, Executive Director at the FDD, Jonathan Schanzer. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now.
Okay, we're not going to really listen to much of what he's got to say here, but I do want to hear his introduction here.
Now from Fox, and obviously this will mark 2 years since it all began. What could define this third year? What could we expect over the next year?
Yes, sir. Be safe out there, Jimmy. We'll see you on the flip side, as always.
Well, I think everybody's hoping right now for an end of conflict, and I think a lot of that actually hinges right now on a deal that Donald Trump cut, not with the Israelis, and not really even with Hamas, but actually with the country of Qatar. I think a lot of this actually tracks back to the airstrike that the Israelis conducted back on September 9th. They tried to take out a number of senior Hamas leaders right in broad daylight in the heart of Doha, the capital of Qatar. It was at that point that the Qataris said, you know what, I don't think it's worth it anymore, being the host of Hamas, being the patron.
Yeah, no kidding.
The financial patrons of Hamas. And so right now, I think a lot of this hinges on whether the Qataris have the juice. Do they have the pull with Hamas to get this thing done? But that's what we're all looking for right now. If the Qataris can actually...
Well, they do, because they're a part of the Arab world. And that's the only thing that they're going to respect at the end of the day is their own Islamic people. They're not going to give any type of real trust to any Western ideology.
Reduce Hamas, get them to relinquish those hostages and to give up their arms finally. They've been defeated, by the way, for 6, 8, 10 months already. We've known that Hamas can't win this war. They just haven't been willing to lose it. And so now it looks like it is up to this one patron in this micro state of Qatar in the Persian Gulf. All eyes are on them right now to see if they can get Hamas to finally end this war.
And obviously this is
and thank God for it. Let's just pray that honestly that this is the best offer that Palestinians are going to get right here, right now. I'm telling you, that is what the best offer for the least amount of casualties going forward. I can guarantee you. It may not be completely 1,000% quote unquote fair, blah, 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 but it is the best, closest to fair that you can get. And I really do think that this is going to be a good thing for both Palestinians and for Israelis.
The final end potentially to it all, but it's also a big ask. The disarmament factor, this 20-point plan, that is a part of it. Is that even a possibility?
Which is this?
Look, it's a possibility. When you talk to folks on the Israeli side and on the Palestinian side,
right here,
they don't even know what kind of percentage to put on this, because there are a couple of problems. Number one, Hamas admitting defeat is not an easy thing to do for this terrorist organization that's been fighting now for 2 years. They've subjected the Gazan people, as we just heard, to just 2 years of abject misery, and they don't want to admit defeat, although I don't think there was ever really a chance at victory in the first place. But then there's the other part of it, which is you've got political leadership in places like Qatar, maybe Turkey, in Iran, where maybe they're willing to say, sure, let's end the war. But then you've got to actually convince the commanders in the tunnels in Gaza. These are the people that are fighting the war, and they have very little connection to the outside world. So if they want to continue this fight, they have the choice to do that. We're all hoping...
Could you imagine being stuck underground for just years? In those Hamas tunnels and shit? Those guys are down there, and like he just said, they don't come out for to go out to eat and shit. They're not normal people. These guys are fucking underground for 2-3 years at a time, bro. Yeah. What's very interesting about Gaza is as big as it was before it got decimated, as it was upwards in the sky, out above ground, it was basically mirrored underneath as with all their tunnels. The tunnel system is so sophisticated. It makes Mexicans look retarded. And Mexicans are very, very keen and understand how to use tunnel systems. But goddamn, when it comes to them, and one thing that I've said on the show before is something that really blew my mind is when there was someone of big status in Hamas, and he says, when your enemy owns the sky, that's when you go below. And and you terrorize from below, and that's exactly what they did and have done. But now, of course, are they failing at that? Yeah, of course. You know, they're getting smoked. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and move into the next ordeal. We do have some remarks from Pete Hegseth. I really don't want to hear too much about it, to be honest. I'd rather kind of get it over with as quickly as possible. But we're going to hear a couple of minutes of his statement here, since it did happen over there at the Naval Air Station Oceana. So let's go ahead and bring this up and bring back our playback speed up to date here, and let's run it.
Barracks investment plan within the next 30 days. Now, something like this has never been done before. The one big beautiful
they
bill,
are, Naomi.
The
they
President
are.
Trump champion gave over $1 billion as the down payment in this effort. We are going to fix the barracks issue across all of our services. Because 2 years ago, the Government Accountability Office released a report. It said, quote, poor living conditions undermine quality of life and readiness. Despite that report, the Biden administration did nothing. It is simply unacceptable that in some cases our warriors continue to live in substandard housing. Every warfighter of
I agree with that, by the way.
Our joint force deserves housing that is clean, comfortable, and safe. It's
I agree.
Really simple. We can build a lot of beautiful things. Our commander-in-chief is a builder. He understands building, and building efficiently and well. Adequate housing for our force is critical to reviving the warrior ethos and rebuilding our military. Barracks are where warriors...
Man, Dean, that's fucking savagery, bro. I couldn't even imagine, I can't even fathom that kind of level of terrorism, for real. You know what I mean?
Go to rest and recover, a place they go to mentally and physically prepare for winning the next fight. So the Barracks Task Force that we're announcing will ensure that local and unit commanders are better empowered to take care of warriors. My office, the Office of the Secretary of War, will personally review and approve the resulting plan. In crucial ways, big and small, the Department of War is going to have your back like never before, not just in the fight, but alongside your family, alongside your welfare, the basics, like barracks. You deserve the best. We can do a lot better than we've done in so many places, and we're going to invest in that. So warfighters, on behalf of the Department of War, I want to thank you. I've got 7 little kids, ages 15 to 8. My oldest is a 15-year-old.
I didn't know he had 7 kids. God damn.
Son, it would be one of the proudest days of my life if he ever stood in a formation like this after he or she, with my 2 daughters, willing to answer the nation's call, do something bigger than themselves. Our rights that we have in this country are endowed by a creator, not by government. They're defended by Americans, American citizens, ordinary Americans. I'm ordinary, you're all ordinary, but you're about to do extraordinary things. You're going to have the crucible, you're going to be forged, you're going to be trained, you're going to be equipped, you're going to be prepared, you're going to be motivated. You've got leaders and NCOs and officers who are prepared to guide you in that process.
Man, he has a really good mouthpiece. He was built to do this political shit.
Will change your life. You will not regret this day. You will look back on this day and say, I made a damn good decision. There were some tough days, some difficult days. Some days were really long, pretty wet, a little cold, didn't quite have what I needed. But alongside my teammates, we accomplished the mission on behalf of the nation, on behalf of the American people, so that we can live free. Freedom requires tan, blue, red, black, and orange. That's what freedom requires. Every single generation. You don't pass it to the next generation in the bloodstream. Every generation fights for freedom. So I was on an aircraft carrier the other day looking out at the U.S., it was the H.W. Bush aircraft carrier. It was one of the most beautiful sights I've seen, but this rivals it as well. Great Americans stepping up to do great things. Thank you for your commitment to our great republic. Now, you're going to go out and train to fight like hell. May God bless you, and may God bless our great republic.
I like that. All right, we're going to, like I said, I wasn't going to play the whole speech because we do have to fit our final segment right here, ladies and gentlemen. We have Speaker Johnson coming out right before the show started this morning for our show right here. It came out only just 59 minutes ago, and Speaker Johnson comes out and speaks on day 7 of the government shutdown, which is, today. So let's go ahead and bring this up. This is going to be our last part for the morning, and let's see if he has any updated information, because we reported on him speaking yesterday. So I'm very interested to see what he's going to say right now.
There's 6 simple truths about the shutdown. I started with the background, a review of how we got to where we are, and then talked with you about the Democrats' counter proposal and some of the absurd things that they've been demanding to reopen the government.
Morning.
And then I gave you an update on the current status. We did some questions. Well, sadly, that status has not changed. As you know, last night, the Senate Democrats, the same group, voted again to keep the government closed.
Wow, isn't that fucking just phenomenal? So they took another vote yesterday, and they voted to keep it closed.
Bruh.
And yet they're crying about how Republicans are doing this. They're the ones doing this.
So that was their fifth vote
Fucking assholes.
to shut the government down on the American people.
We got Kel in the building. By the way, always appreciate my man hanging out with us. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday morning so far.
It is regrettable and sad, and real pain is being felt by real people because of these political shenanigans. So today, instead of the 6 simple truths, I'm going to give you 5 key facts, okay? And then we'll do some questions. I'll be more brief today. I do think it is incumbent upon us to mark the tragic anniversary of October 7. And I'll just say just a very brief word about that. There's a lot that could be said. But there are protests right now around the country and around the world against Israel. And it makes no sense. We have to remember what October 7th marks. It was a massacre. You had 1,200 people that were murdered, many of them tortured and
over 1,200, yeah.
raped. I mean, just the most heinous crimes. Bloodthirsty Hamas terrorists went into villages of Jewish people in Israel and murdered babies and put them in ovens. It's unspeakable, and I won't go into the gross detail of what happened, but it was just terribly, terribly tragic. And then, of course, they kidnapped 250 people. It was the darkest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And these are objective facts. And right now, there are people protesting against Israel for fighting a war to defend their people and their homeland. And I would just say this very brief. I was on a radio interview this morning at WABC in New York. One of my
Since this is a long segment, I'm going to speed him up a little bit more. Actually, I didn't even speed him up at all. Okay, good. Let's see how he sounds at 1.25.
Friends there, Sid Rosenberg, and he is the host of that program, and he is himself Jewish. And we were talking about this, and we were talking about the good versus evil thing, and he said a lot of Jewish people today are dejected because they see these protests around the globe and against the wrong side. And I just said to Sid, and I'll read it to you.
What's up, Pablo, my man? Good morning to you. And yes, make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. Very much appreciate your laborious work on that.
Brought my Bible in here this morning. Let me just say, I said, Sid, I'm always comforted by this passage in the Psalms, the Old Testament, the Christian Old Testament. But this is the Psalm of the Jewish people, the Psalm of David, Psalm 37. And it says, commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will do this. I'll read it to you.
Oh, real quick before he reads that. We got 36 or 38 now of you guys watching and 40 likes. That's a humongous W for the fucking chat, by the way. And chat always wins, bro. Shit.
Trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will do this. He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn, the justice of your cause like the noonday sun. It says, be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when men succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. I told my friend Sid on the radio, and he was comforted by it, and I think others will be as well. We're all comforted by this. I know that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is fully in control. We'll let that rest there. Let me talk about the shutdown here real quick, and I promised you just 5 fast facts, 5 key facts, okay? I'm going to start with Leader Schumer's record because he is leading the opposition, and he is the one telling the Democrats to keep the government shut down. Chuck Schumer has been in Congress for 44 years. He was first elected to the House in 1981.
God damn.
Just for reference, I was 9 years old. I was
44 years old. Or 44 years in doing this fucking job. Could you imagine doing that as a career for 44 years? He just said, to put that into context, I was 9 years old when he started doing this shit.
In the 3rd grade when Chuck Schumer came here to Congress.
God
Throughout
damn.
his entire career, he has been very, very consistent about the necessity of keeping the government open until just now. In fact, I want to read you an excerpt from 7 months ago.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. I truly correlate to the boomers. The boomers looked at Israel as like huge, like actual allies in that regard. I think a lot of the younger has just seen that our own people are fucked up and we're sending all this money and fuck everybody else kind of thing. And I think that's, especially us who are struggling, you know, my generation and younger, they're not killing it. You know, the richest people to ever have lived ever is the boomers, you know? And, but they had this infatuation with Israel, you know, and like this blind allegiance to it.
His floor speech on March 13th, 2025. This is Senator Chuck Schumer in March of this year. Quote, on the Senate floor, while the CR bill is very bad, the potential for a shutdown has consequences for America that are much, much worse. I believe it is my job to make the best choice for the country to minimize the harms to the American people. Therefore, I will vote to keep the government open and not shut it down, unquote. Now, what was Chuck Schumer talking about? The exact same bill that is on the floor today. That's what he himself said. And he did vote to keep the government open. And then, during an interview with Jake Tapper on CNN following that vote, on March 14th of this year, he said, quote, I'm proud I did it. I know I did the right thing, unquote. That is Chuck Schumer himself. Today's the exact same scenario. It is the exact same vote. It is the exact same spending levels. And he has no reason whatsoever to do anything different, except for the...
Well, he is calling him out, saying, Chuck Schumer, I guess, supposedly had once said that I would never shut it down. I would never vote to shut this bitch down. Meanwhile, you know, this is the same vote that happens every single fucking year, by the way. This is not like a new vote thing. The deadline is September 1st, always. That's always been the case. And so he's shown that he had a history of saying that I would never shut down the government. And now he's doing the exact opposite, right?
Politics. So that's fact number two. Fact number one was Schumer's record. Fact number two.
All right, so we are listening in there to House Speaker Mike Johnson. However, if you're watching along with us, you do see a few glitches. We do have another live stream of this. This is about 20 minutes delayed, so you might hear a little bit of repetition. However, it's a better viewer experience, so let's listen in.
So that's fact number two. Fact number one was Schumer's record. Fact number two is his calculation today. It is purely about politics. He is recognizing the reality of the political winds changing in the state of New York. As I mentioned yesterday, they are likely to elect a Marxist to be the mayor of New York City, and Chuck Schumer is terrified by that.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
He's been in Congress a long, long time, and he is not the flavor of the day. He's not far enough left for the Marxist, and he knows he's going to get a challenge from his left flank. So he has to show a fight against President Trump, no matter how ridiculous it is, no matter how distracting it may be to the actual issues of the day. He's got to do that. Democrats have been in the political wilderness since last year's election. I got a couple of numbers for you here. Just over a week ago, Quinnipiac released the latest poll, the lowest favorability rating for the Democrat Party ever.
Be safe out there, Naomi. Always appreciate you.
They're at about 30%. 30% favorability. Democrats have hit historic lows in poll after poll since the beginning of this year. Wall Street Journal poll, CNBC poll, the Pew survey, et cetera, et cetera.
Fuck it, real quick. In between here, because Naomi's doing her exit, we'll go ahead and do our final obey.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking money.
All right, back to it.
You've all seen it. Many of you have reported on it, and that is a fact that is inescapable. Third fast fact this morning, the Democrats' record on the CRs. You know about Chuck Schumer's record, but they've all done it. Democrats and Republicans have worked together to pass 13 CRs to keep the government open under the Biden administration in the previous four-year term. Democrats supported every CR close to unanimously in the House and the Senate. In fact, their average is 99%. 99% of the Democrats who are voting no right now voted yes 13 times on the almost exact same, word for word, very simple CRs to keep the government open. But they won't do it now. The fourth fast fact this morning is the actual cost of the Democrats' CR counterproposal. I showed you all the graphics and all the evidence, and it's still there on my website at speaker.gov. You can go and see. The Democrats' counterproposal, what they're demanding to reopen the government and get it working for the American people again, would result in nearly $200 billion being spent on health care services for illegal immigrants and other non-citizens. It's enough to fund the entire children's health insurance program, $200 billion. And that's just part of the $1.5 trillion in new spending that they want to hoist upon the American people for big liberal wish lists in the middle of a very simple 7-week stopgap funding measure to keep the lights on. Fifth fast fact, and I'll take your questions, the cost of the government shutdowns for real people. So this results in crippling economic losses right now. These are the latest numbers we've been.
Oh, I'm sure they're going to feel it.
Assembling these, and I'm sure many of you all have been reporting on it. Each week the shutdown continues. It will wipe out an estimated $15 billion in our gross domestic product in our country. A month-long shutdown would mean not just 750,000 federal civilian employees furloughed right now, but an additional 43,000 more unemployed Americans across the economy, because that is the effect, the ripple effect that it has in the private sector. You could go state by state, and we could have charts and graphs this morning and show you what it's going to mean to every state. But what the shutdown means in the state of New York, for example, that's Chuck Schumer's state. The impact there is a decline of $1.2 billion per month in GDP. That is the pain that is being wrought. And I, again, have to mention that when you shut down, as they have, women, infants, and children nutrition programs, veterans health services, the disabled, the elderly who receive health care at home, all these programs are now being shuttered because the funding streams have stopped. We have troops. We have Border Patrol agents, TSA.
Shit, what's up, Chris? Great to see you in the building, man. Always appreciate you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday morning so far.
Agents that are all serving, protecting all of us, protecting the country without pay right now. Real hardships for real families. And it cannot drag on any longer. We are pleading with the Democrats in the Senate to do the right thing. The Republicans are united 100%, and we have proven it with our votes. The President, the Republicans in the Senate, and of course the Republicans in the House have done the right thing. We have all advocated to keep the government open. We have all voted repeatedly over and over to keep the government open. And it comes down to the necessity of 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans. And so we have to have a handful of Democrats who will wake up and do
We need 7 Democrats.
the right thing and stop inflicting pain on the American people so that they can score political points. I'll take your questions. Yes, ma'am.
Damn.
Hey.
I would like to know, do you think all those federal employees will receive the back pay if they keep their job? And then also, we saw the Democrats see our almost 500...
She's asking about back pay if, you know, when the government does agree to their shit, blah, 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 and they come to an agreement. Is there going to be back pay for these people?
$100 million for PPS and NPR. $174,000 in death benefits to those 3 Democrat lawmakers' families who recently passed away. $437 million for the European Bank. Could you also comment on those 3 provisions too?
Yes, I mentioned in the counterproposal, the CR for the Democrats presented, it's $1.5 trillion. And if you go through it, and we have, and you analyze what it is they're requesting, it's a list of absurd priorities. They know that we could never do that and would never do it because it's wrong. For example, they want to give $500 million back to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. In the One Big Beautiful Bill, we eliminated that line. We don't believe that taxpayers should be funding biased news organizations and subsidizing their operations. That might have made sense 30 or 40 years ago, but you don't need that service anymore. Look how many media outlets are present in the room this morning. Media and information is ubiquitous. It's 24/7. It's live all the time, and it's on the internet. We don't need taxpayers funding that, and they were all left-leaning biased organizations. We're not doing that again. And some of these other priorities that you mentioned, there are many that we could list that are just outrageous. It has nothing to do with the current proposal to keep the government in operation for 7 more weeks so that we continue the appropriations process. We're trying to fund the government, and you need Republicans and Democrats to work together to get that done.
Yeah.
With regard to whether the furloughed civilian employees of the federal government will receive back pay, it is true that in previous shutdowns, many or most of them have been paid for the time that they were furloughed.
I hope they don't pay them this time.
But there is new legal analysis. I don't know the details. I just saw a headline this morning. I'm not read in on it, and I haven't spoken to the White House about it. But there are some legal analysts who are saying that that may not be appropriate or necessary in terms of the law requiring that back pay be provided. So I'm sure that'll be there will be a lot of discussion about that.
I don't think that. I think that goes with having a government position in that regard. If that's the risk you take, you know that you're set for fucking life working in the government. You guys can fucking withstand taking a fucking pay, gouge for a couple of weeks. Trust me, you're not gonna fucking be homeless because of it. Relax. You guys don't need no fucking back pay.
But there are legal analysts who think that is not something that government should do. That, if that is true, that should turn up the urgency and the necessity of the Democrats doing the right thing here.
Yeah, exactly. It should give them other people in the government should now be like, hey, fucker, you're actually now impeding in my money-making ability. You better fucking put the lights back on, cocksucker. I think that there shouldn't be any type of back pay. Fuck them.
More pain, more than I just listed for more people. So we got to figure it out.
Be good and safe out there, Brother Dean. Always appreciate you.
Talk about how you're from a hurricane state. If this is a priority for you, why not bring the House back and vote on a reauthorization for NFIP or for WIC or troops pay or of those things for that matter?
Well, there's a lot of issues that we need to address, and we work on flood insurance, the flood insurance program all the time, those of us in hurricane states. But the work of the House has been done. And we have to get the Senate to reopen the government so that we can come back and handle all of these very important end-of-the-year issues. There's a lot of things on the table. FEMA has sufficient resources right now to do that. We do have to extend the flood insurance program, annually, effectively, to make sure that it's there. But we'll do that. We'll do it in due course. There's a lot of end-of-year issues that are being conflated with this very simple issue of keeping the government open. And that is the first and most immediate priority.
Oh, wow. That's a huge fucking W, dude. Steve has been, going and struggling with fucking blood clots for the last 8 fucking months. And he just said, got good news after 8 months of BS. I finally have no more blood clots. Yo, that's a humongous W, bro. Let's go. Shit. It's time to get hammered tonight, boy. Shit. Feels ultra good.
And we must use every leverage point we have to force the Democrats to do that. And that's why we're
Great
handling the schedule the way we are. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thanks, sir. We've talked about Leader Schumer's record with regards to continuing resolutions. Your record, you voted against continuing resolutions in the past, including when Speaker McCarthy was the speaker. How do you explain your stance now versus yours previously?
Yeah, different circumstances, different times. When we did CRs in the past, you had leverage points of things.
Real quick, Wolfheim coming in with the 27 Swedish crowns, by the way, saying it's that time again. Yes, sir. Making the shit rain in here, bro. I very much appreciate you. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning so far. Well, for you over there, it's probably close to evening time, right, Wolfheim? It's got to be maybe 1800 time, 1800 for you.
That when the Democrats were trying to put their partisan priorities in, we were trying to use whatever leverage we had in the minority to take them out. Very important distinction right now. We did not put in Republican priorities in the clean CR. I could have put some of our priorities or poison pills or things that Democrats have done in the past to us. We didn't. And that's why there's nothing to negotiate right now. People say, why aren't you negotiating? I don't have anything to offer. I can't go to a clean CR and say, let me pull off the Republican priority.
Man, I was spot on. Shit.
And make it more palatable for you because we didn't add that in. It's simply a status quo continuance. One of the things we objected to back then was these were Biden-level policies and spending. I still object to that. But what I'm trying to do is keep the government open so that we can readjust those things. And as I gave you the long background yesterday, the summary of how we got to where we are, the appropriations process is working again. And we're going to be able to reprioritize federal spending, but we have to allow the time for that to continue. We need 7 more weeks. But every day that they keep the government open, it gives us less time to finish the job.
McCarthy was the speaker, and you guys had
well, duh.
a majority in 2023.
Yeah, well, we had divided government as well, right? The Democrats were, Chuck Schumer was over here negotiating in the Senate, and that's what's so ironic about it when we were in the Oval Office.
I'm going to allow one last question.
Chuck Schumer looked the president in the eyes and said, I've always been very fair. I've always allowed the Republicans their priorities. And I just looked at him like, oh, what? I'm sitting right here. I was the guy you were negotiating with. I called him at the 11th hour, I remember very vividly, and asked him not to put in a terrible poison pill. That was a big Democrat priority that is outrageous to the conservatives. And he said, yeah, I'm sorry, Speaker, can't help you, and literally hung up on me. So now he wants me to be a fair broker. I have been. I gave him much more grace than he ever deserved. Yes, sir. Jay, sorry.
As a matter of principle on the back pay, I mean, understanding that there are people who have opinions about everything and analysis about everything. Do you
I don't care about their back pay. They shouldn't get back pay. Fuck them.
believe as a matter of principle that furloughed workers should receive back pay?
Yeah, I hope.
No, fuck them.
That the furloughed workers receive back pay. Of course, we have some extraordinary Americans who serve the federal government. They serve valiantly and they work hard and they serve in these various agencies doing really important work. I can tell you the president believes that as well. He and I have talked about this personally. He doesn't want people to go without pay, and that's why he pleaded with Chuck Schumer to do the right thing and vote to keep the government open. We don't want this to happen. The key point, the important point to remember here is
if people didn't get paid in the government, you would see a lot fucking quicker movement. You wouldn't see this elongated delay and all this bullshit. No, if they felt the fucking hammer of finances, that's when people go, you know what? My party's out of control and they keep voting for me to not have a job. One side is voting to fucking keep it open. One side is keeping it closed. That's where they need to feel their own pressure from their own party.
this can stop right now. They'll get another opportunity to
What's up, Gunpowder Nitro? Good morning.
And then we'll have all these policy debates, as we always do. This, again, is a deliberative body. We've got 535 individuals serving here between the Senate and the House. We've got to have the time to do all the deliberation, but you got to have the lights on.
Yeah, Carney, I got you.
A few moments later.
To do it, and that's the whole point. Yes, sir.
Some of the Vote members have expressed concern.
Shit, what's up, Kat? Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well as you just catch us at the very end here. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys stick around. We're going to be sending you guys off to a raid over to John Galt, actually. This guy, he is fucking hysterical. He has some of the greatest panels and shit like that. So you guys definitely got to stick around for that raid. You guys are going to have great entertainment. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you guys enough for making these very shows happen. I'm very honored to be able to present the facts of whatever we're discussing in geopolitics, world news, breaking news, all of that kind of shit, man. So I'm very honored that you guys trust me to do that. Stick around for the raid, and also make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out. Until then, till tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness, God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to surrender.